What up, though, One Pride? This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, a podcast where one pride goes worldwide. My name is Antony Fitzpatrick, and it is Friday evening, so that can only mean one thing. It is time for the Friday night Q&A. It is the last Friday before the NFL draft, so one last opportunity to get those questions in about anything NFL draft related. And of course, we do the Detroit Lions, we do college football, I do them all, so anything you want to ask, I shall do my best to answer. Hope everybody is doing well this evening. Another weekend is upon us. And as I said, we are just 6 days away from the NFL draft. It is going to be a good one. I can't wait for it. It is my favourite time of year. We stream for days and days and days, but that is the fun of it all. You spend the entire year building up to this, and then we get to enjoy it. Hope everyone is enjoying their Friday. See, Aaron Hubbard is in the building already. Says, let's go. Thank you for joining. Hope you are well. Whilst we wait for people to come in the building and for questions to start to pile up, we'll get all the regular stuff out of the way, and I'll let you know of the upcoming scheduling for the next week as well, because we have a lot on the docket. So, Roar of the Lions UK, if you want in on our Discord, let us know. We'll send you across the link for that. Main show, we did our Detroit Lions 7-round mock drafts this past week just gone, so if you've not checked out that episode, please do go have a look at and see who did the best with their Lions mock draft in there. Don't forget to like and subscribe to everything. We appreciate all of you who follow us. You are very much appreciated, each and every single one of you. We're part of Lions Nation Unite as well, so give them a follow. We're monetized, we've got all that tip jar stuff like that. You want to help us that way, great, but we just love having you in the building first and foremost, chatting football as always. With that out of the way, as I say, while we've got a minute, I'm just going to quickly go through what is coming up on the channel for the upcoming week. So, next week is going to be a busy one for us. On the Monday, we will be doing our regular Monday podcast, and that will be our NFL first round mock draft. So, our 32 picks, trying to figure out what's going to go on with the NFL draft this year. It seems harder than ever before, but we shall be doing that, so it'll be good fun. So hopefully we'll see you there for that, and bring your ones along as well. We'll read out some of the best ones on the show as well. On the Wednesday, we'll be double dipping. Me and Ryan will be doing one last college football podcast. We'll be doing our Are We Smarter Than a Mock Draft Simulator Challenge, the last thing we always do before every draft, so join us for that. And then later in the evening, we'll be doing our final takes show before the draft, where we make our final hot take predictions and do a little betting and stuff like that. So if you're into that sort of thing, then come join us for that one. And then we've got the draft itself, and we are live for the whole thing. So starting on the Thursday, the 23rd of April, we do a preview show, which begins at 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. Eastern for all you over the pond there, where we do our final preview, and we start having our guests on, and that show is fully booked already, so we've got a couple of great guests coming onto that one. Then our day one live stream starts at midnight GMT at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we do the entire first round, having guests on roughly every 40 minutes. If you've seen before, you know how the system works by now. On the Friday, 12 p.m. GMT, 7 a.m. Eastern, we do our day one review / day 2 preview show. That's up for a couple of hours, and then we start our day 2 live stream again at midnight, about 11:30 GMT, 6:30 Eastern, and again we just have another night full of guests for rounds 2 and 3, and then on the Saturday we do another review show for day 2. That starts at 11:30 GMT, that'll be 6:30 Eastern. It's kind of early here, but we do it for the Brits over here as well, the ones who are asleep when the draft happens. And then the day 3 live stream starts at 4:30. That would be 11:30 for you guys. over there, and then we just stream the entirety of day 3 up through till about 7 or 8 in the evening your time. And then to round it all off on the Sunday, we do our final recap show from 12 p.m. GMT, that is 7 a.m. Eastern, for a couple of hours, where we have our last few guests on and we wrap everything up in a nice little bow. So a lot of content coming your way. We got a lot of great guests coming on these shows. Some we've had before. We've got Maurice coming over from DC Tweet Team. We've got Dom C coming over from Project Prospect. He covers the New York Jets. He makes my college knowledge look tiny and inferior. He knows. He's forgotten more than I know about college football. He's awesome. We've got TJ coming on from State of the Saints. We've got Kyle Senra, our Green Bay Packers representative, on there. We've got Kieran coming from the Irish Bears show as well. And we have new guests this year as well. We've got Skoldock coming on to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. We've got Joe coming from the Cardinal Rule to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. And we've got a whole host of other great guests. We're just in the midst of getting on. We've got about 13 sort of currently, but it'll be about 30 by the time that we're done. So you don't have to be with us for the entire draft. You can just be with us for a little bit of the draft, whichever you like. If you're going out there to Pittsburgh, have a wonderful time. But yeah, it's our favourite time of the year, and we are very much looking forward to it. So you will see a lot of us over the next 9 days. I've seen Grandizer is in the building. Hope you are doing well, Grandizer. Thank you for your message on Facebook earlier, Grandizer, about all the content creators. I will get in touch with as many of them as possible, but you are an absolute saint, and we love you, and all these links you're able to give us to people, we really appreciate it, so thank you very much for that. Hatman is in the building. He goes, "What's up, man, from the other side of the pond?" What up, Hatman? Hope you are doing well. I'm just here having a little chat with you guys, answering any questions you have. We sort of leave it an open forum. If it's about the Lions, put it in. If it's about the NFL draft, college football, I do a college show over here. So yeah, I know a lot of things, not everything, but a lot. So, you know, try your best. Grandizer goes, "Mr. Telephone Man, there's something wrong with my line. When I dial the Roar of the Lions UK number, I get a click every time." We rhyme in there, Grandizer. I love it. I love it. Sounds like a bit of the old Northern Soul there. I can two-tap to that one, as they say. Lisa is in the building. Hope you are doing well, Lisa. Hope all is good with you. Right, so we've got all the draft stuff out the way. And of course, if there's any content creators you want to see us do some work with during the draft, just, you know, fire us across a link. We'll put in as many as we can. We'll do multiple from the same teams. If not, you know, we'll have people on to chat. Just so we're not talking about the Detroit Lions for 30 straight hours next week. You get to hear from people from other teams who know what they're talking about, whereas in regards to their own sides. I do not have any pre-questions for the show today, so I'm just kind of going to wait until things start coming in. Got my Dr. Pepper with me here. I mean, in terms of Lions news to talk about, just while we're waiting for some stuff, came out, I think it was yesterday. Rod Wood, again, for some reason, he's retiring, but he seems to have more involvement in this team than he ever did before, even though he's in the process of retiring. We've been talking about Brian Branch and Sam Laporta, saying how the team do not need to see anything from either of them post-injury to justify giving them a new contract. And I know that has gone down pretty controversially amongst a lot of people, myself included. Obviously, we've spoken about it at length. The contract extensions which are coming for the class of 2023 gonna cost this team a lot of money, and you would expect them to start soon. In fact, I'm surprised we've not had one, because usually we get at least one big one done before the draft is done. And on the day where Will Anderson has been paid $50 million a year by the Houston Texans, well earned from him, maybe we'll see something in the near future. But yeah, Rod basically saying they don't really care about the injuries to Sam and Branch, and that they will just pay them regardless if they feel that way. I mean, personally for me, that is the wrong way to go about it. I know you want to get your players locked up early while the market is in your favour, while it's a little earlier. Technically, the market can only go up if they play more and they play better, but we've had an unfortunate problem with our big check guys and injury. Obviously, Hutch has had a broken leg, Aleem has had a torn ACL, Kirby is dealing with his degenerative knee issue. I think, for me, it is very prudent that you wait a little bit. The Lions did this with Hutch last year. Everybody expected an Aidan Hutchinson contract extension during the off-season last year. And we all said, well, the leg's broken, just see how he comes back, make sure it's not affected him, make sure he's the same player, and then give him the deal. And sure enough, he started the season like a house on fire, and he got his deal when he'd proven his fitness, which for me seemed like a prudent bit of business for the Lions. That's how you do it. And I think that's exactly the same route they should take with these two guys. Brian Branch is a DB coming off an Achilles injury, and it's very widely known nothing kills a DB's career quicker than an Achilles tear. It can be, it's been the career ender for a lot of talented defensive backs in the NFL, just depending how it affects movement, explosion, so many things that are critical to a DB's game. And you're going to be paying Brian Branch a lot of money. He's going to be up there amongst the highest paid safeties in the NFL. And with Kirby nursing his knee injury, and we don't know what the long-term repercussions is of that, for me, it would be foolhardy to be giving out a massive contract to Brian before knowing just how much that Achilles has affected his gameplay. Yes, they can see him in training. Yes, they can do the athletic testing with him. You're not going to know until he's back on the field and he's playing just how much of an impact it has or has not had on him. He may come back, which is absolutely fine. He may play really well, which is great. And if it adds a little bit onto his overall tally, then fine. But I think it is a risk worth taking, especially when it comes to these type of injuries. You've just got to be prudent, especially for us who we don't have much cap. We don't seem to want to restructure many deals, so we're not going to have much cap going forward if we're playing it this way, which is fine. You've got to be careful before handing out these contracts. I think you've at least got to wait until roughly near the trade deadline with Brian. You can protect him with tags. You're not at risk of losing them. The same goes for Sam Laporta. Back injury, we don't know how bad it is or if it's bad at all. It's kept him out for a while. We don't know if he'll be ready for OTAs or that sort of stuff. I think you've just got to be prudent, especially with the history we have with injuries on this team and how it comes to bite us in the arse. I don't agree with Rod. I think that you just need to wait and see them play. And if they play fine, then great, give them the deals. But just do your due diligence first. We are in a very precarious position with our money, which for me means you've got to be extra careful before giving out these deals. But of course, it's Rod. He's heading out the building. The rest of the front office may not feel the same, but it made the news. It was there, so it needed talking about a little. But yeah, wait with them two. Do Jack and Jameer now. You know, get them done, get them in the books, and then sort the other two down the line as you would. Brian Shuck goes Rossini collab. Diane, yeah, she's a free agent now, I believe. We'll have to reach out to her, but I imagine she's got about 1 billion podcast invites at the minute and what's going on there. So yeah, it's crazy. I think there's been more to the story today. I've not seen it all at the minute, but yeah, she's out of business, so we'll have to see. But yeah, it'd be wonderful to get someone like her on the pod. We're putting more of an emphasis on trying to get more guests back on during the summer because we've not had as many guests as we'd like this year because we've all been busy and it's been tough. But we're going to try and put an emphasis on getting a lot more guests on the shows with us. So we will. We will keep shooting for the stars. We've tried with the Lions a lot of time to get more Lions on there, so we just need public pressure, you know. Remind them, tag us, tag them. Let's get the pressure on. We'll get more on from the Lions. Hopefully when they come to Germany, we'll be able to coup some decent ones there. Who do you think the Lions will take with their first pick, says Lisa? You know, the worrying part of me is saying it's going to be Caden Proctor, but I'm not sure. The closer this draft gets, and even the big guns have started mentioning it out. Ian Rappaport mentioned it the other day. I think Garofolo has as well, although I know they're all in cahoots with one another. that the Lions are plotting something big. For me, it tracks. I've said it's more likely for some time now that we trade up than trade down. I've been with that opinion for quite a while because the talent in this draft is not as high, as highbrow where we would usually be. I think they're going to do something big and they're going to move up and they're going to surprise a lot of us. I know he's moved up a lot in the past, but I think this one will be the surprising one because obviously we don't have much draft capital this year early. We got 7 day 3 picks, but we've only got 2 in the top 120 basically. So you would be looking at future picks, and the 2027 draft is highly coveted right now, quite rightly so. I mean, it could turn out to be a bust, but as it stands, it's looking to be the best draft of a generation in terms of talent available for the top 2 days. So whether he's going to make that move or not, I don't know, but I have a feeling he is. I think they're going to go high, so I think they've got their eyes set on someone at the top of this board, whether it be Sonny Styles, whether it be Ruben Bain, whether they want to get ahead of the traffic for Munro Freeling or something like that, or Farnu. But my instinct tells me they're going to go up, and not just up a little bit, like up into the top 10 and well into the top 10. You look at Washington, where they're at. Washington need draft picks badly. They don't have that many this year. I think they've only got 5. There are people there who will do business. So at the minute, it might be a cop-out to say I'm not sure. If they stay at 17, I'm almost certain it's going to be a tackle, even though they say it won't be. I think, you're looking Caden Proctor, Farno if he's there, maybe Keldrick Folk if you want to go for an edge. They seem to really like Keldrick Folk as well, so I don't buy the corner rumours. I would hate it if they drafted a corner at 17, but it is what it is. So I'm honestly not sure right now, Lisa. I'm really, really not sure who they're going to take. It's really... Yeah, it's really convoluted this year. I think they're going to go up, and if they go up, and obviously the answer changes drastically, I would say right now my confidence that they're going to pick at 17 is about 10%. I don't think we're going to pick there. They put up a tweet the other day saying about players who've been picked at pick 17 in the past. They're just really tempting fate right now. And according to the insiders, some in the know, there might be as many as 7 or 8 trades on draft on in the first round alone, which would be on the high end. But there's 5 teams with multiple first round picks, 5 teams with 2 first rounders, so a lot might package those to trade up. Some might package one of them to trade down. Who knows? So, but the buzz is there's going to be a lot of trades. It'd be like the year that we went up for JMO. There were loads of trades that year, especially in the teens. There were like 4 picks in a row that were traded. It was crazy. So I expect complete and utter madness. Question, yes. Any Lions news that caught your eye since last time you were live? As I say, there was the stuff about Branch and Laporta. I don't know if there's too much else in there at the minute. There's rumours that the new uniforms are going to be... are going to be revealed soon, because obviously the Rams have just done theirs, and for the record, the Rams are horrible. Those uniforms are no different to the others before, and they've redesigned the logo, and if someone's been paid for that redesign, they've ripped them off. But obviously they've just redesigned. The Ravens have just announced their new uniforms, so the Lions are getting new uniforms this year, into some degree. I hope they don't touch the blackouts, and I hope they don't touch the icy whites. Everything else is on the table, because we need some new ones. The pajama greys can go, and a few of the others can go as well. But yeah, that's the main thing. It's been pretty quiet otherwise in terms of Lions stuff. They're not saying much at the minute. I mean, the pre-draft circuit has been incredibly quiet, like in terms of trying to find where they've been at pro days, what they're doing, where the position coaches have been going. It's been almost non-existent. Whether they've just been incredibly secret about it, or they're not really sending these guys out there. It's it's just been very difficult to find what they're doing. This is an odd it's an odd off season quite currently. You just don't know what they're doing right now, and as I say, there's not really been a lot of news out there about what's going on. Mainly the bits are just floating around about contract rumours at the minute in terms of the 2023-4. So yeah, nothing really else catching my eye at the minute. Just draft chatter. There's a lot of chatter out there that they are going to go up, and they're going to go up, and they're going to make a big bang in this draft, which would be ballsy, but maybe needed. So, but yeah, there's no consensus about who they're going to pick at the minute. Even the beat can't get a lock on it, and usually they're at least in some form of lockstep. At this time of year by now, usually they've got their grit index guys and the guys they know they like. So, yeah, I think it's been very quiet, just very, very quiet right now. But obviously it's draft time. Brad's probably very busy, so it is what it is. We kind of have to do with it as it is. DC Smithers is in the building. He goes, "Hey Ant, hope you're doing well." I'm doing very well, thank you. This is my favourite time of year, draft, and it's been a lot more of a stressful year for me this year. So it's just nice to get to a time of the year where we can be a little happier and we can do all this draft content. It's honestly, we love draft time. It's such a fun time for us. So a lot of work goes into it, but it's very rewarding. But I'm good. I hope you're good as well. I hope everyone has been safe over there. I've seen all the inclement weather going off, so hopefully no one has been affected by that. I know there's another round of severe weather today, so hope all of you are safe and well and not having to deal with too much issue with Mother Nature. Because Brad seems to be under more stress this year. Yeah, we're in that awkward part now. We're coming into year 6, so obviously at year 6, there are expectations there. We can no longer use the excuse that we're a rebuilding team now, and we need to get back in the playoffs again, and we've still got some deficiencies on this team. So this seems like the most vital draft of them all so far. We've got to get it right. If it's less players, then fine, but we've got to make sure we do it well. And I think that reflects with Brad this year. Again, that's why I think we're going to go up in the draft. It feels like their board is not very big. High, I could be completely wrong and missing the complete issue with it here, but I don't know if their board's that big at the top of the draft this year. And I think that might be the same for a lot of teams, so I think they might be plotting to go and make a big move and get one of the few guys they think is worth a first round pick this year. It's going to be, as I say, it's going to be crazy this year with so many teams with multiple firsts. Like, the market's going to be high, and to trade up into that top 10's probably going to be a lot more expensive than it usually is, because there's just not that many players knocking around, and there's teams up there that need capital who will be looking to grease everything they can. So I agree with you. He does seem to be under a bit more stress this year. The job is not under stress just yet, but another bad year and the job will be. So he knows how critical this draft is, especially as they didn't spend big in free agency. So Lions fans are expecting a lot of reinforcements out of this draft. We need a lot of reinforcements in this draft, so the need is there for him to get it done. My instinct is that this draft is chalk on day one for the Lions, and they stick and pick a tackle. They might very well do. It all depends on how the board falls, and it feels like a cop-out answer, but it really does. If someone like Sonny Styles or Ruben Bain or somebody starts to slip a bit, then your board and your needs change, and the possibility to get them is there. So, but I think if they do stick at 17, it does feel like tackle will be the pick there. I'm just not sure they're going to do it, but again, the draft is to come. I think there's a lot to play. Yeah, I think there'll be pre-draft trades. I think there's going to be a lot of activity before the actual draft this year, especially at the start of next week. Teams will start making moves. So, I just think it's so uncertain this year. This is the most uncertain draft I've known in a long, long time. Bob O'Lan's in the chat. Hope you're doing well, Bob O'Lan. Goes, building through the trenches is my hope. Tackle, guard, D-tackle or D-end. That would be my favourite draft as well if we went trenches with the top 2 picks. Or safety with the second pick with 50, because I still think safety's a big need for us. So, trenches and or safety, and I'll be a happy bunny when we've done that. Day 2 will be where the wheeling and dealing will be. Potentially, I mean, the trouble we have with the Lions at 50, it's a bit of an awkward spot because if you want to trade back, you've got to trade back fairly far to get a third out of it at 50. And the question becomes, would you rather have one better player at 50 or, say, get pick 70 and pick 100, something like that? Would you rather have that top 50 player than two guys potentially in round 3 or so? And I just feel like we need the better talent this year. With 7 day 3 picks, it would not surprise me if they also went up from... If they don't go up at 17 and they stick at 17, I think it's a nailed on certainty that they move up from 50 and they package some of the day 3 picks we've got. Again, we've got 7. We don't need all them. We can attach 2 or 3 to 50 and move up to the mid-30s and end up with 2 sort of top 40 guys, which I think would be the ideal scenario for us. So there will be a lot of wheeling dealing. Obviously, not having a third's going to harm us, but having all those day 3 picks does help us in regards to going up a little bit. So, yeah, I think there will be a lot of wheeler dealing there, but I think day 1's going to be traders market's going to be crazy. Grandizer goes, Detroit Lions news, shocker. Could the Lions consider massive drafts with Max Iheanacho at tackle? I would not say no. I did it in my mock draft. I traded back for Max Iheanacho at 24 and got pick 70 so I could take a D tackle as well. It would not surprise me. Again, having Larry Boreham here gives you a sense of security, so you don't need to rush a guy in. And I've long been of the thing, the argument, like at 24 you're looking at Blake Miller or Max Iheanacho. For me, I'd rather take a punt on Iheanacho's higher ceiling than Blake's higher floor, because we can afford to wait a little bit to see Iheanacho raise his ceiling. That's just my own personal preference, but if they went back to 24 and got Iheanacho, that would be a good draft as well. You get pick 70, you get a big tackle for the future, but it's only if he's there. Again, I think, and again, the big wigs have been saying this, I think a lot of the tackles are going to go earlier than people expect. I think there'll be a rush for the tackles this year. So you can go back, but you run the risk of missing out on them altogether. Kind of like when we got Tyleek last year, all the DTs had gone and Tyleek was the best option you had left at the end of round 1. Otherwise, you were looking at day 3 guys and that was it. So you got to be careful about where you end up. But if theoretically you could go back and get Iheanacho and get a third rounder out of it, you do that deal every day of the week. Absolutely, you do. So I could buy that. I could buy them trading back as well, but I just don't think they're going to. But in an ideal world, you could trade back and still get someone. TJ Parker would be the other one I'd do that for. Back to 24 and get Iheanacho or Parker. I think you're pretty happy there, and then you look to get your tackle at 50. So we shall see. The Lions were at Jordan Tyson's Pro Day today. Yes, they were, and I know this generated a lot of, guffaws about, what's going on. Why are they a wide receivers Pro Day? The thing is, you've got to do your due diligence on every prospect. And in Tyson's case, because he's been hurt, a lot of teams have not been able to do their complete evals on him. So I can understand and go, don't forget, going to a Pro Day at the end of the day means absolutely nothing. It's just, and they didn't say who went either. It might just be the area scout that's gone. The area scout for Arizona for over on the West Coast. It might just be him. Certainly it wasn't one of the GMs. I saw the GMs list and Brad wasn't among them. But as Brad said many times, you've got to do your due diligence on everybody. If you're at pick 17 and Jordan Tyson is there, you've got to consider him because of value. Brad made a deal of this in the past. Back when they were at the Rams, they kept drafting defensive linemen. Or even though they already had a good defensive line, and his philosophy is you just pick the best players available regardless of what it does to your roster, and you work around it. If your roster is to have, Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Tesla, and Jordan Tyson, I know it doesn't help the overall depth of some of the more key positions, but he'll work around that. When you've got all those guys on your roster, you've got the best receiving core in the NFL, 1 through 4. yes, you've got Larry Boreham at right tackle, but you've still got the best core there. So if they feel he's the best player of football at 17 and he's the most talented player they've got, they'll take him, and that's what Brad's ethos is. So, you know, I will never have any problems with them doing their due diligence on players, no matter how, insignificant the need might be. But they're just making sure their eval's as complete as possible so they can make a decision on him. Because Jordan Tyson might well be there at 17. And you've got to consider it, regardless of need. We don't draft for need, we draft the best players we can, so that's the type of team we are. I fall behind a little bit. Detroit Lions news: ex-Lions Pro Bowl lineman Taylor Decker hit with free agency warning. I'm done with the Decker stuff now. Like, let bygones be bygones. It's the same with Anzalone. All this pot shotting and, I'm getting the negativity out the system. Taylor's market was never going to be massively high with his injury concerns and his age, but, I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about him now. It is what it is, unfortunately, with Taylor at this point. We move on. Mile marker is there. He goes, "Hi guys, first day in the sunshine. I'm in the hills, so no flooding back here. Glad to see you, mile marker. Hope you are doing well. Good for you, been in the sunshine. We've had a nice week over here as well. We've not had much sunshine this year, but temperatures have got up a little bit. It's nice. The evenings are getting better. Summer is starting to arrive, so we'll always appreciate that. I review the Lions 30 prospect list that are on the Lions radar. Can't review 30 prospects at one. You know my favourite draft prospects. If there's anyone specific you want me to talk about, then fine. But those lists are pretty much out there at this point. Bob Olan goes, "How many starters is he getting? 1 or 2?" It depends. You would like to think. I mean, in all honesty, it could be 0. Depending, because 17 and 50, depending on which way you go, if, let's say, 17 is, Caden Proctor, or, one of the more developmental tackles, say it's Iheanacho you get in the first round, he might not be a starter on day one. They might sit him behind Larry Boreham and wait until he's ready to get in the team at pick 50. If you took someone like Gabe Yakers or something like that, he might not start day one in front of DJ Wonnum. They might like to use the veteran instead and let the rookie sort of work his way into the team. So, and then after that, you've got all your day 3 picks who are probably going to be, depth guys, potential guys who won't start immediately. So, I mean, you theoretically could leave this draft with 0 day 1 starters. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, depending on who you get, but we're at the point now where there's not too many obvious starting needs for us. We have a serviceable right tackle, and we have a serviceable edge too. They're not the best, but they're serviceable. So you don't need an immediate impact starter. You can work your time with them. On the flip side, you could end up with, and again, I feel like 2 would be the number. 118 and 128 you could package to get in the 3rd round. So if you get up to the 3rd round, you take a coverage linebacker, you take a safety, they'll probably start to go with your 17 and your 50 who might also potentially start. I think outside of that, I think at most you will get 3, and that's optimistic. I think the most liable option is 2. And it'll be a mixture of those first 4 picks. Either they're packaged and you get 2, or you pick 4 guys and 2 of them work out right away. So I think 2 would be the option. Ideally, if this draft was done, I'd like a starter at edge 2 and I'd like a starting coverage linebacker. Those are the 2 I really, really, really want. Tackle, I don't mind developing one behind Boreham just for a little bit. So we'll see. But yeah, I would like to think 2. Most recent draft prospect risers and fallers that caught his eye. I'll come back to that one in a minute, because there are a few who have gone up and down the pecking order. Hendon Hooker showing life with the Titans. I mean, great. He's, 27, 28 now. Like, he's already coming into final contract territory. He's not going to supplant Cam Ward from that team, but I wish him the best. If he can carve out his niche as a backup quarterback, then fine. But I'm not sure what's going to go on with him there. DC Smith goes, ideal trade back is with Pittsburgh to 21, get pick 98 or 85 in round 3 back. Yeah, potentially. I know there's a lot of chatter about Pittsburgh going up. I mean, that could be all about the Ty Simpson stakes. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett is making demands of the Cardinals right now to make him a starting caliber paid guy. So whether they're going to look at trading back and going for the quarterback, whether Pittsburgh are going to go for the quarterback, whether the Rams are going to try and come up for the quarterback, I think Pittsburgh could be in that discussion. So potentially you could. And you're only going back a few spots yourself, so I wouldn't mind that trade. 85 would be tremendous if you could pry 85 off them for just going back 4 spots. But do that trade every day of the week. So there are some good ones out there. But again, my own personal opinion is I think it's likely they go forward. I think they want one difference, like one legitimate difference maker in this, because that can be a big boon to your franchise, getting that one guy who really changes things. So we'll see with that. Lisa goes, I have a feeling they will draft either Messidor or Parker. If so, I hope it's Parker. I'm not knocking Messidor because of his age, but there is his age, there's his foot injury, there's the fact that he's older, there's the fact that I think he benefited from a much better defensive line, although I guess, potato with TJ Parker. They both had great defensive line mates to work with, so how much of that is down to them, but I would much prefer TJ Parker in that scenario. I do not trust Messidor's foot injury and his advanced age. But again, personal preference. I don't think they'd do that at 17, though. That would definitely be a trade back. I don't think they'd pick either of them at 17. This year, is there any difference between draft best player and draft for position? For us, it's an interesting question. Is there a difference between draft best player and draft for position? At 17, no. I think your draft value will align pretty much. You will be looking... So let's just get a mock up here and have a look, just for example's sake. Not saying it'll go around this way, but you need to have a rough example of where you're at. So when you get up to pick 17, NFL.com have had us trading with the Rams. So 17 down to... Oh, where the hell did we go? Or did we go up? Let's have a look. Oh, they had us going up to 13 with the Rams, giving up 157 and a third rounder next year. If that was the value to go up 4 picks, I wouldn't say that. But anywho, back on task again. When you're getting down to 17, you're looking at tackles, really. You might have your guards there. There'll be a run on corners, potentially, and edges as well. I think your board is going to look similar to your needs at 17. Just because of the trench warfare guys. If you were to go up, it might change, because you would have Sonny Styles knocking round. Linebacker's not the biggest need in the world, but he will be there. He would be the best player available, not a need. Mansour Delane, potentially there. Corner, I don't think corner aligns with our needs, but I think he's a much better player than the guys who will be at positions you need there. So I do think that there is a difference, not at 17, between draft best and draft for position, but if you went up, there would be. And potentially receivers as well, like the caliber of receiver would go up as well. If you got down into the Malachi Lemon stakes or something like that, he's probably better than some of the options you're looking at there as well. So yeah, that's the short answer. I think at 17, no, there's no difference. If you went up, yes, there is a difference. Which is why I think Brad might go up and just get the best player that's available on his board. Or get, regardless of position. Because I think there's a very big gap between the top prospects this year in the top 10 and the teens. There's a very big gap, in my opinion, in terms of game changers. A load of the guys who are going in the teens are developmental upside. Most going in the top 10 are guaranteed starters right away who have got really high levels to them. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Hang on, I've overshot things here. Oh Lord, I've gone quite far behind. Grandizer goes, what's in that bottle or cup, Ant? A little bit of the sauce, yes, you're drinking it a lot. Cheers to you, good fellow. It's Dr. Pepper. Nothing more than good old Dr. Pepper. I have not had an alcoholic beverage in about a month now because I'm on sleeping tablets at the minute to help me with, my issues that I've been having. So I'm not allowed to drink alcohol while I'm on those. And I don't really drink that much these days anyhow, so yeah, technically I'm sober right now. It's been about a month since I had a drink, so just coffee and caffeine, that is my stuff. I might have a beer during the draft. I'll probably have a beer during the draft. Although we're not going to do the shot for subs thing that we did in year one. I remember we were on Twitch and I did a shot for every sub we got, and I got people started using all their free Prime subs on that, and I got drunk as a skunk and I couldn't finish the stream, which was hilarious. Chris Perfett had to jump in take my place. But yeah, no, just Dr. Pepper. I only drink it this time of year when I see Fansville commercials. There is a correlation between the amount of Fansville commercials I see and the amount of Dr. Pepper I drink. In 2 months' time, I won't touch it because it'll just not be round there. Missouri defensive end Zion Young is a powerful run defender. Not in the first round. Not in the first round. At 50 maybe. Not in the first round. Not in the first round at all. DC Smithers, my round 2 wildcard is D'Angelo Pons. I love D'Angelo Pons. For me, he is the best. Maybe the best coverage corner in the draft. He's just small, but don't let that fool you. I'm with you entirely. He is way overlooked, but his tape is absolutely phenomenal. And if he did somehow end up on the Lions, then I would be very happy. I would just be scared that they'd move him into a slot role. The man's born to be a boundary corner despite his size. I would like them to let him live there. You've got Roger McCreary at slot. Bring D'Angelo Pons in, let him play at outside corner and rotate with Terrian and Reed. But yeah, I love D'Angelo Pons. His ball skills are second to none, and his coverage is second to none either. He's a tremendous player. He just popped years ago. We started watching him, and that'd be one of those. I probably wouldn't like that we'd taken a corner, but I would also not be upset about it either. Our history at pick 17. Yes, we have a really... I did the list somewhere of our previous picks at our positions we're at, and it was an interesting list. There were 3 edges and 4 offensive linemen. Where we're picking currently in the draft, all 9 spots, there were 3 edges and 4 offensive linemen, I think, that we've picked at those positions in the past, the last picks we made. So it kind of feels like history's trying to tell you a lesson there. But yeah, Gosda Cherilus was the last one at 17, the tackle out of Boston College. There was a lot of hope for Gosda, and it never materialised. That was not a good pick for us in the end. Let me see if I can find it. I posted the link. I always do it on Twitter. When I know what all our draft picks are, I always put up a tweet saying what the last picks at those specific positions were, because I find it interesting to look through history and see, picks we've made in previous years that might have that aligned with that, and just to bring some names to the fore. I don't know if I've got it in here. Again, I'm looking through all these books I've got we could be here for hours looking for this, but I will have a quick look. Here we go. So we may as well do this while we're here. But yes, the last pick at 17 was Gosda Cherilus from Boston College in 2008. The last pick at 50 was Dominic Raiola, center from Nebraska in 2001. Dominic Raiola, one of the most, well-known Lions offensive linemen of this century. I love Dominic Raiola. But yeah, he was the last at pick 50. At pick 118, it was tackle Scott Conover from Purdue in 1991. At pick 128, it was Jason Fox, the tackle from Miami Hurricanes in 2010. We've had him on this podcast. So literally the first 4 picks are all offensive linemen. The last pick at 157 was Doug Hogue, who was a linebacker from Syracuse in 2011. 181 was Quinton Reese, a defensive end from Auburn in the year 2000. 205 was Jeremiah Ledbetter, defensive end from Arkansas in 2017. 213 was defensive end Willie Young from NC State in 2010. And 222 was wide receiver Dwayne Jett from Hawaii in 1980. So 9 picks, you got 4 offensive linemen, 3 defensive ends, a linebacker and a wide receiver. Those are the last picks we made at every spot. I always love doing that. It's one of my favourite things. When I know all the Lions draft picks, I immediately go back and see who they drafted last. It's all good fun. But yeah, we've had some bad ones at 17, although we've had some bad ones there as well. Yet those are all our selections. Lisa goes, I do not have issues with Anzalonian's interview. He had an interview and spoke honestly about the situation. He did not slam anyone or cry about no one calling him. Yeah, I agree. I don't have that much. I'm not that fussed with Anzo. I wish he'd stayed. I think the team did him dirty in a way. But I'm not going to complain about him. The most important thing is how he played. He played his heart out every single week. So as long as you give that, then I don't really care about what you say outside of it, even if you are a bit of a douche. As long as you give your all to the cause, I don't need that. Bobo goes, lol, remember when the Lions needed 3 or more starters in their drafts? Yeah. When Brad inherited this roster, pretty much every pick could have started. Was Rodrigo the first year? I think most of them did start in year 1, apart from Jamar Jefferson. I think everyone else started in their first year. It was crazy. That's how shallow the depth was here. So it says something how far we've come with all this, doesn't it? But it is good fun. Donkey Kong goes, yeah, Lions always bring their young guys in slow, sometimes to a fault. It depends. I like what they did last year. I think they got it right with Tyleek. They got it right with Tesla. And they got it right with Ratledge. Ratledge, clearly a day 1 starter. Tyleek clearly needed a bit of time to work on some of elements of his game. He was here to replace DJ Reader, so quite happy with that. Tesla was just, the ultimate project guy, and they did right with him. So I think they did a good job last year. I think overall they've done a pretty good job ingratiating their rookies into the team. Some start day 1, some don't. Obviously you get some misfires, but for me they do a pretty good job of getting their rookies in the team. So yeah. We'll see what they do this year, but they're in no rush to start a lot of them day 1 if they don't need to, which is the positive thing. Anzalone rules, yes he does. Detroit Lions news, 5 receivers that could interest us. Most receivers who interest me are day 3. Jeff Caldwell, DeAndre Proctor, the bigger, taller guys like that who give us something on the roster we don't have currently. So yeah, I'm really looking at day 3 for receivers this year. But if they take one in the first round, then hell, we're gonna have a hell of a fun time watching them next year for sure. DC Smithers goes, I am concerned about Larry Borum versus Micah Parsons. I am as well. I am concerned as well. But it is what it is for now. And Parsons ain't going to be fit to start next year. So if we get Green Bay early, that's one of the games out the way. So, you give and you get a little bit. But I think the point is Borum's not going to be a long-term starter here. He is just a band-aid until we either draft a guy and develop them, or we get through this year and we sort it next year. So I'm not too scared in the long run, but yeah, there are some ones that don't bear thinking about. Isn't Styles a middle linebacker? Styles is a stud. I think it's stud linebacker. The linebacker safety. He started out as a safety. Yes, they do employ him primarily as a middle linebacker, but he can play safety as well. He doesn't really do the blitzing off the edge, which means he's not a star. I think it's a stud linebacker where they play linebacker safety. I think that's at least what the Cowboys call it, because the Cowboys use one. Yeah. Quote me on that, but he does play the majority of his reps at middle linebacker, but he is technically a stud linebacker, so that versatility is what will get him drafted really high, because you can play him deep if you want to, and he will be a great coverage linebacker because of that safety instinct that he has. So he's a little bit of both, but yeah, primarily be middle linebacker. Styles falls to pick 10. I'm making that phone call for a deal. Yep, I'm doing that as well. Like, I will be rowing across the Atlantic, like, you know, shouting at Brad to make that trade. I know it's not technically the biggest need on the team, but put the best talent on your defense. At the end of the day, our defense needs more game changers. You know, I know we need to have a more consistent unit, but we need more game changers on it as well. So, you know, I will always be up for adding game changers to it. If Styles is available in any way, shape or form, then you go and get him. I'm the same with you, Bobo. If he makes a number that's a double digit, you go trade whatever you have to go get him. Larry Borum against anyone is scary. Potentially it is there. Raiola ruled. Yes, he did. Always got some love for Dom Raiola here. You know, we did all right. We had some good linemen. Backus, Raiola. We just never had the full team to go around it. But yeah, I will always be a big Dom Raiola fan. It's just a shame that his kid's such a pain in the neck. And yes, I love that history. The last time a team was at that spot and who they drafted and if they panned out. Yeah, I don't do if they pan out. I mean, that's a bad draft for players panning out. Jason Fox didn't pan out. Cherilus didn't pan out. Raiola did. Conover didn't. In fact, I might go as far to say Raiola was the only success story out of that lot. So it's in terms of history, it's not the greatest. It's not the most talented bunch, I don't think. Let me just check. Quinton Reese didn't really do anything to my knowledge. Jeremiah Ledbetter sure as hell didn't. Willie Young, Dwayne Jett didn't. I think he got jettisoned, no pun intended, not long afterwards. But yeah, we got one good one in Raiola. Raiola's franchise legend, so, you know, you win some, you lose some. Lisa goes, Dr. Pepper is my go-to soda. It is one of mine. I do really like it. Like, I do. That's why I think I save it specially for NFL season. But it's, yeah, I absolutely love it. But I do love a good Mountain Dew as well. But I don't... My favourite soda is ginger beer. It always will be, especially during the summer. You saw me drinking ginger beer all winter, but we're getting warmer now, so it'll go away. And it's too bad that you could get some of these past lines to discuss the process in draft day and their journey. Yeah, we're going to try and do more with that. I've mentioned this on the college pod before, but my very ambitious project is to get a prospect coming out of high school and interviewing them every week as they make their way through college football, to do the life and the process of a college football prospect, doing the process from start to end. I'm going to try and put a lot of effort into doing that this year. It's trying to find a prospect that'll do it. But, you know, we see these guys and we talk about them and we watch a tape and that, but the one thing that a lot of people never do enough with draft prospects is take into side their humanity, the people they are, which is why I do a lot of that stuff. I dig deep on them. You've got to find what sort of person they are. And you've got to see the process as it morphs out. Why are they doing what they're doing? What are they learning? How are they developing? So we really want to try and do that, so that when the draft comes, you've literally got a player you've seen from his first day in college grow through the entire process and can be just about as invested in him as possible to get more insight into what goes on. So we'll see. It's a project I've had on my mind for a while, but I've not gotten around to. But we're going to try and attack it this year for sure. In terms of getting past Lions on, again, I think we probably could. We just need to try harder. Like, we've had Glover Quinn on. We've had Jason Kabinda on. We've had Jason Fox on. Like, that was in our early days when we were a small podcast as well. Technically, with us being bigger now, it should be easier, but we've kind of just gone off the boil with it a bit. But we will, as I say, we're trying really hard to get more guests on and do that. It's just, yeah, this is a hobby for us, so we only have so much time at our disposal. I'm a Pepper, you're a Pepper, yeah, love that. If you took 3 third-round picks, how far could you trade up? You mean 3 day 3 picks, I would assume, because we don't have 3 third-round picks. Via the NFL draft value chart, which is, and you can go and see it on, it's called Draft Tech, TEK. They do a draft value chart which gives you a rough idea of what the picks are worth. Now obviously it's not a given thing, you know, it's subject to value and whatever, you can do all that. But let's just say, for example, you know, you want 2 great guys this year, just 2 really good ones. So you pick at 17. If you wanted to move up from 50 and tag on 3 day 3 picks to it, if you wanted to use your 3 highest ones, so your pick value at 50 is 400, okay. Your pick value at 118 is 58, at 128 it's 44, and at 157 it's about 29. So if you want to take 118, 128 and 157 and package them onto 50 to move up, just to get 2 really good players, that is excess capital of 131 you could get there. So that would get you up to 530 in points. That is pick 37 with the New York Giants. So if you wanted to add your first 3 picks on day 3 to 50, you could go up from 50 to 37 via the draft value chart. Now, a team might turn around and ask for more, they might ask for less, but that is the rough guide. So hopefully that answers your question there. If you wanted to tag that on to 17, again, it's not that much, 130. It could get you up roughly to 14, maybe 13. Obviously, the mock draft on NFL.com today had us using a future third to get up there, but you could potentially go from 17 to, I'd say 14 would be your ceiling with that. So 3 spots in the first, 13 spots in the second. If you wanted to move up from 118, like say you want to package 128, 157 and 181, so that is 1929, which is 48 plus 44, 52, 92. So 58 is 118 plus 92 onto that would be 150. That would get you up to pick 88. So if you wanted to package 118 with 128, 157 and 181, that would get you up to about 88. So that's a rise of 30 spots. That gets you up in the 3rd round, but then obviously no 4th or 5th round picks after that. So pick your poison, really. You can either go up a tiny bit in the 1st, a decent amount in the 2nd, or you can vault yourself into like the middle of the 3rd round, depending on using your day 3 picks. So, you know, hopefully that answers that one there for you. I'm hoping that's what the question is. If you're using 3/3, God, you could go really high in any of them. Grandizer's showing his age. Grandizer's always showing his age, but we love him for it. He knows more British history than I do, Grandizer does, which is there. Freddie McGee, yes, the news that Freddie McGee III was stood outside not Ford Field, but he got his little sign up wanting opportunity. I don't believe they did anything in the end. But, you know, I admire that. I used to follow a guy on Twitter. Oh my, what was his name now? I got really invested in him at one point. There was another guy who did similar. I think he was a JUCO guy, if I remember rightly. And he was very active on Twitter. He had a young daughter, I think, or a young son. He had a young kid, anyhow. And he was posting workout videos every single day, like trying to get NFL teams' attention. And I don't believe he ever did. But they were really invested in him at one point. Loads of people used to retweet him and fire him out. No one gave him a chance. It was sad in the end. And then Frank the Tank, he was called. I can't remember his last name. Not the big bloated fellow who works for Barstool, but he was called Frank the Tank. I think he's still on Twitter. I don't know whether he still posts that much anymore, but yeah. You always like to see these guys given a shot, get on a roster spot, but whether the Lions will do or not, I don't know. What do you make of Dante Corleone saying that the Lions were the only team he had a formal meeting with at the Combine? I wouldn't read too much into that. So, Don Corleone had massive medical red flags heading into the Combine. He has since been cleared, but I can understand maybe why a lot of teams didn't talk to him then, because they were going to wait for those medical checks to, work out, because he's had some injury issues in college. He's been in college quite a while now. It's not the sort of guy I'm looking for. Don Corleone's a run stuffer, and to be fair, he's done 5 years in college now. His best years were years 1 and 2. He was a phenomenal true freshman and sophomore. I mean, 3 years ago, people were talking about potentially one of the best D tackles in whichever draft he was going to declare in. Like, the sky was the limit for him. And then the injuries hit, and he's not been the same since, but he is primarily a run stuffer. He doesn't offer you very much upside at all as a pass rusher, which is kind of what we invested in with Tyleik Williams. Not knocking Tyleik, but, they do need another defensive tackle, but for me, and again, he fits the profile. He is a run-stuffing guy first, and I know the Lions like that, but I would like someone with more pass rush upside. But I know he's had a few more visits since, I believe. But yeah, there were a lot of things about his medical checks. So maybe teams were just a little bit, we'll spend it on someone else until we know he's healthy, and then maybe we'll interview him. But I mean, I remember the true freshman and sophomore version of him, and he was absolutely sensational. Maybe if you can still salvage that guy, then great. But yeah, I would prefer a pass rusher like Grayson Holton or Skylar Gill Howard. So, but I can see why the Lions would like him for sure. And yes, it would be fun for you lads to interview Freddie McGee. Oh, I never thought about that. We'll see if we can hit him up. That would be fun. Are Jordan Seaton and Trevor Gooseby better than the tackles in this year's class? Good question. Not yet. There's a massive amount of hype around Trevor Gooseberry. I always get his name wrong. But I know both Texas tackles are held in high regard this year. I know Gooseby is he's like the upside. Like he's insane as both a pass blocker and a run blocker. He was just a sophomore last year as well. People think he's gonna declare early, but he's like 6'7", 320 pounds. Like he's built like Taylor Decker, but he is completely insane with his athleticism. If he stays on track, he could be better than what we've got this year. For me, the best tackle going back is Carter Smith, the Indiana tackle. But certainly the next tackle class as a whole could be a whole lot better. So yeah, you've got Seaton I'm interested to see how he does at LSU now. It's a big jump up for him, and their offense, they've not had many of the best prospects coming through that offensive line recently. But he's a fantastic pass protector. He's got to learn to run block better. That Colorado team's always been terrible running the football. It might be the players around him, but he's going to have to show it this year. If he could just get that run defense, he needs to improve it a lot, to be fair. A lot. but his ceiling is far... I think the ceiling of the guys in that class are far higher than some of these. There's some particular good. You've got Caden Green as well next year. Trevor Lauk, the Iowa tackle, the left tackle this year. He is amazing as well. Jacarius Peak, he's going to be the starter for South Carolina this year. I've watched him at NC State the last couple of years. Also fantastic. The pass protecting class next year is crazy. A lot of them just need to work on their run blocking. Jacarius Peak is a lot better than some of the others at it, but Seaton and Gooseby could be, but not yet. As I say, Jordan Seaton's run blocking's terrible right now, so certainly not from that perspective. But yeah, people are going to go mad for Gooseby. Like, next year could be insane for a lot of them. Brad's on the look for the best tackle he can get. Potentially, maybe he wants to go for Mawagoa if Mawagoa falls. Because there's rumours that Mawagoa might go down, especially if Freeland goes early and a lot of defensive players come off the board. Mawagoa might slide a little bit. So maybe you get Mawagoa because he's young. He's exactly what we look for in terms of a run blocker. The pass protection will come along in time. I mean, getting Mawagoa and Sewell would be crazy. Really crazy. Why the Lions should draft Keldrick Falk, I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't be my favourite, but yeah, I wouldn't mind Keldrick Falk as the future guy. Not right away, but the future guy. I was hoping Dylan Raiola was going to be a good quarterback. So were we all. It's just not worked. But I'll give him his credit. He's gone to sit at a good program this year. He'll sit this year, but it might do him good to sit for a bit and just refine his game. We saw it happen with Dante Moore. So maybe we'll see it happen with Raiola now. And also former Lions players, regardless if they were popular players or not, part of history. Yeah, obviously I do all the podcasts with Herm. We might see if we can get Herm back on as well. Lisa goes, if we got Styles, I would totally be screaming with joy running up and down the streets. Absolutely, it would be awesome. Grandad goes, I have a horrible British accent. That is why the lads here won't allow me to call in. We've offered to have you on the podcast, Grandad. If you want to come on during the draft, then come on. We've offered you many a time. So, yeah, don't pull that one with us. No one's falling for that. Lisa goes, I have a New York accent and I called in, Grandad. So Lisa did. Lisa came on during the 24-hour show, I believe. And it was very nice to meet you on there, Lisa. If you want to come on during the draft, just say so. We'll get you in on the draft at some point if you want to have your say on some of the picks. So our doors are always open to you all. Grandad goes, Frank Crum and Frank Gore were often called Frank the Tank. Yeah, a lot of them were called Frank the Tank, but this Frank the Tank was a Twitter sensation. He could be an undrafted. I don't know who that's regarding to, but we'll see. Yes, 95% talent for us. Oh, we appreciate it, Grandad. That is very nice of you. Oh, we got those. Have I just gone? Am I going back? Are you just reposting your tweets again? Freddie McGee? You've reposted those ones, so I think I've just about caught up with everyone for now. So yeah, keep on going. Lisa has a beautiful NYC accent. She does. It was good fun talking with Lisa. That 24-hour stream took a lot out of us, but it was good fun in the end. It raised the money for a good cause. For the I can't remember the Detroit charity now, but also Steve's charity for his for the cancer care. So yeah, that was good. That was. But you're always welcome on Grandizer if you want. So don't ever say that we don't offer, because we do. What else did we have going on there? I think I've caught up with all the questions for now. Oh, I think Grandizer asked earlier about stock up and stock down prospects. I mean, for me, very few of my prospects go stock down during the off season. Most of these guys I've watched for years, and no amount of bad off season can, no amount of bad off season can put them down in my eyes. It's not often I go down on a prospect that I like between the end of the season and the draft, just because, again, I don't really put that much stock in the off season circuit there. But Are there any of my favourites who've gone down the board a bit? I mean, I guess not in my eyes, in the eyes of some around the league. Some have started to fall. Grayson Holton has fallen down the boards the last few weeks. So has Kyle Louis a little bit. He was fringe round 1 at one point, and now he's headed way back into the second, which I don't mind from our point of view because we could draft him, but a few of the guys have really gone down the pecking order. Tanakoziel, the tight ends have really gone down the pecking order as well. The tight end class has diminished. There was all that chatter about them at the combine, and then all their stock has plummeted through the ground. Anyone whose stock has gone up, I mean, not really. Again, all guys I like. Most of the guys I overvalue anyhow. Maybe, it'd be the HBCU guys who I didn't know as much about, like Travonta Abner and DeAndre Proctor. Guys like that, their stock has gone quite up in my eyes. Seth McGowan's did, the running back out of Kentucky, after he showed me the athletic side of his game. Like, he posted really good combine numbers and showed it off with real good field drills as well. Like, he's a fringe day 2 pick now, potentially. So his stock has gone up through the roof. And it's gone up in my mind as well a little bit more. Just wanted to show that athletic ability was there, and he did. Is there anyone else who's really gone nuts or's gone off my board? I don't think there is. I mean, obviously, consensus world amongst the NFL draft community in general, it's all over the place this year. It always is, but it feels like this year's been equally... it's been worse than usual. I mean, guys like, Jennings Dunker was a pick at 17 a few months ago. Now he barely makes it into the middle of round 2 because people have seen him play. When all the athletic testing gets done, there's a lot of false positives put out there about people. Remember the Division 3 receiver? Was it Tyron Montgomery? Like, everyone was talking about Tyron Montgomery after the Senior Bowl and bigging him up, and then he disappeared. No one talks about him anymore, and he's not on anybody's mock draft boards, really. Not that I see, anyhow. It's just a lot of overreactions and underreactions and bits like that. But in terms of my board, things very rarely change. Very rarely. They happen during the college season. That's who my stock... If you're asking me from the start of last year, has my stock gone up or down or anybody, I can possibly... Oop. Bear with me one moment. Let me see if I can find my preseason team, and we can have a look, see if anyone's stock's gone up or down in general, because that's the place to look at. Here we go. Let's have a look at who was on it. Rocco Becht, his stock's gone up. Hollywood Smothers, he's a traitor, but he's a good. Cam Edwards up. Chase Sowell had a bad year from Iowa State, the wide receiver. Not as high on him as I was there, but he's gone to Penn State now, so that could be pretty good for him. Lewis Bond. Lewis Bond is incredibly underappreciated in this draft, the Boston College wide receiver. I'm much higher on him than a lot of others are. Like, he should be a day 2 pick, and I've not seen him there at all. Tanakoziel's still up there. Lawan Owens was the big one, the California left tackle. I was massive on him at the start of the year. He had a poor year. He's gone to the Central Arkansas Bears now. He's gone back down to the FCS. That was a shame. Anyone else here? No. I had a pretty good year. Most of my college football to watch team went up in my eyes, and I liked most of them to start with. So Bishop Fitzgerald is coming to this draft. He's incredibly underrated. Nothing too much has changed on my board there, Grandizer, with stock up or stock down. As I say, I'm not a flight to fancy. I don't take the combine or pro days or anything really into account. Unless there's major personality flaws that come up or something like that, things very rarely change for me. Habitat for Humanity. Thank you, mile marker. Appreciate that. Yeah, there were 2 very good causes there, and we made quite a good amount of money. We made 4 figures out of that, so we did all right. Or maybe I didn't address the Freddie McGee story. Sorry if I didn't, but I did, because I was talking about Frank the Tank. So we're there. How deep is the 2027 Edge class likely to be? It's very... and again, I'm not bailing out of this answer, but it depends entirely on who declares and who doesn't declare as to what it's going to be. But it's right now, I think it's not amazing. It's not amazing as of right now. Like, you're looking for guys who can be like top 5 overall picks. I mean, obviously you've got Colin Simmons, and he also is sort of, he does a little bit of linebacker work as well, but he's outside linebacker. But Colin Simmons is one of the best players in the country, period. And he will be if he has a great season, he'll be a top 5 pick next year. Outside of him, I'm thinking there's a lot of potential there, but it needs to be seen this year. Like, Clev Lubin could probably be very good from Louisville. I think, he's got the odds of being one of the best pass rushers next year. Then you're looking at guys like Dylan Stewart, so great true freshman, not as great a sophomore year. He's going to be a true junior this year. If he has a great season, he will probably declare early. He has all the talent in the world, but he's not quite realised it yet. You've got the Oregon pair. A lot will rest on them, Tuioti and Uangalele. Both seniors this year, so both will come to the draft. Uangalele could be special, but he's not produced in big games so far. But if he turns that round, he does have all the traits to be really good. Tuioti, I really like as well. Then you're looking at guys like Will Helt out of Clemson. He is awesome. I do like him quite a lot. Damon Wilson, Prince Welluman Malin, Boubacar Traore. There's some good names around. At the minute, though, I would say your difference makers, there's none that are quite ready just yet, apart from Colin Simmons. If they have a good year, it could potentially be a very deep class, because, as I say, you will get quite a few very talented true juniors declaring. But yeah, as of now, it's not the greatest. Like, next year, safety's insane, tackles insane, defensive tackles could be pretty damn good. Your linebackers are looking amazing. Corners looking pretty decent as well. So, but there's a lot of guys I've got my eye on, let's put it that way. But yeah, as of right now, Colin Simmons is by far and away the best edge in the nation. After that, yeah, it depends. Do you like the cornerback Julian Neal? I've not. So Julian Neal is the Kansas corner, yeah, if I'm remembering rightly. I can't remember all these guys, but I think he's part of. Ryan would know more, cause I believe. Oh no, he's the Arkansas corner, isn't he? 6'2", 208. I love the build. I like my corners bigger, and we need bigger corners. He's had 1 year at Arkansas. He made his name at Fresno State. But yeah, he did have a really good year with Arkansas this year. He's always been a good run defender, and at that size and weight, like, he plays to his weight and his size in the run game. He's really good. He's been quite consistent with his coverage as well. 2 interceptions, 8 pass breakups this year. Does do a little bit of pass rushing as well. The missed tackle numbers are really low, so he is in that group of taller cornerbacks who you might look at in day 3, kind of like Takario Davis, Ephesians Pryzok. But yeah, I don't mind my Razorbacks. A lot of these Razorbacks have been lost on a terrible team and don't get the love they deserve, but he's a decent player for sure. Had a really good game. I think it was against Texas. I do remember that. He made Arch Manning's life hell. Arch kept targeting him again and again because they kept mentioning Julian Neal's name on the broadcast. So he's done well against some good opposition. So I wouldn't be. He's one of those. I wouldn't be upset. Like, I want some height to my cornerback room because we are severely lacking on it. And like I say, he does the run defensive stuff really well. He's worked his way up. Like, that Fresno State system's good right now. You've got Alzillian Hamilton in this draft. The Lions have met with him a lot one of the few teams who have. So they've obviously been keeping a close eye on these Fresno State corners, and they will have seen him at Arkansas this year. But yeah, don't mind him at all. Is there any day one pick you would really not like? Kenyon Sadiq. Oh, someone's already put that. Bob Oland's beat me to it. But yeah, I would not like Kenyon Sadiq just because I don't want a tight end, and it means you'll be trading Laporta. And although I've said I've been a proponent of that, I'm not ready to do it right now. I'm not ready to spend 17 on a tight end. Who would I really hate at 17? Caden Proctor, for reasons I've mentioned a lot in the past. I don't think he's all that. I really wouldn't be too happy. Mesidor, I would really not be happy with at 17. I just don't think he's worth that higher pick with the problems that he has. So I wouldn't be happy if Mesidor was the pick. Jamod McCoy. I know people love him and people are throwing around the term generational and best corner in the draft and stuff like that, but I just think he's got way too many personality red flags. The fact that he bailed on his teammates at Tennessee and he's refused to test all off-season until he got to the confines of Rocky Top and his favourable pro day, I just don't like that. It doesn't scream grit. He's not tried to fight his way through an injury or anything. He's just kind of looked after himself, which, you know, you've got to do in the NFL and that, but yeah, I don't think he fits here at all. And plus, I don't want another guy off an ACL tear. Apparently, the medical rechecks of teams think he might have a degenerative knee issue as well. Hence why he's not been training much 15 months after an ACL tear. So, like, the medical concerns enough for me, despite the personality issues as well, the medical concerns are enough to put me off. So, I don't want anything to do with that Jamad McCoy chatter either. But at the end of the day, whoever we pick, if it is Caden Proctor, he's a lion. And then we'll back him to the hilt. It's just personal preference on there. But yeah, McCoy would be the one, as would Sadiq, and probably Proctor as well. Yeah, is what it is with that. I don't want Sadiq. Yeah, DC Smithers, if you don't like Proctor, isn't Mawagoa the same on the other side? Technically, obviously Mawagoa's a lot lighter. He doesn't have the issues with he doesn't have the weight issues and that, and Mawagoa's also a true junior. He's younger. But yes, you are right. He's in there primarily for the run blocking stuff to start with an emphasis on improving the pass protection. And yeah, you probably are right. I have probably been hypocritical on this because we were 31st in pass block win rate last year. We need a technician in pass protection as well as a good run blocker. So yes, technically I would be being hypocritical if I'm saying that Mawagoa doesn't have the same problems as Proctor. But Mawagoa has age on his side. I just think his ceiling is a lot higher potential, and it's not just based on his size or his weight. There is technique to how Mawagoa plays. Like, again, Miami is the team I trust most in the nation at developing their true freshmen. Well, he started as a true freshman. So did Ruben Bain. So did Mark Fletcher. So is Malachi Toney. So have so many of their guys who have just been way above the curve when it comes to their learning from day one on there. So it's a trust system I have as well. Like, the trust, you know, a lot of these Alabama tackles who've come out in recent years, not naming names, who've been a little bit bigger, who've been a little bit weightier, have not quite worked in the NFL. So I do have an issue with scheme and trust of some of these. Like, Caden Proctor does scream a little like Evan Neal. Like, Evan Neal is a phenomenal athlete. You saw him training and the way he moved and how good he'd been and how well he played against SEC opposition. But you could tell there were deficiencies in the game that were going to make him struggle. And he has struggled in the league to a degree. And I'm just, yeah. So I could be a hypocrite. I hold my hand up to that. But yeah, I trust Miami's system better. And he's younger. So I think he's got the upside to him there. But again, if Proctor's the pick, then he's our guy, and I'll go to bat for him, and I'll defend him to the hilt, and I will take it all back. That's how we work with these things. I do not think right tackle as opposed to left tackle makes any difference. No, because I think Penny can work both. So I think you're at luxury as to which side you can do. Just take the best player. Just take the best player and work your way around it, like Brad Holmes' mantra is. It's always has, always will be. Pick the best player available and you work around it on the roster. If it's Ioane, you take Ioane. In an ideal world, it's not Ioane because you'd rather get a tackle and you'd rather Mahogany work out at left guard. That way we don't need to waste a first round pick on a left guard. But if he's the guy, then you work your roster around it. At least your interior depth will be tremendous. If you get Ioane, you'll have Mahogany as a backup, Frazier as a backup, Scruggs as a backup. So, it's at the end of the day, like Brad says, just take whoever you think the best football player is and sort the other problems after. So it doesn't matter if it's left tackle, right tackle. If it's the best player, take them. But I do not think right tackle. So who is good at pass protection? Out of the top tackles, I mean, Munro Freeling is probably up there. If you're asking me right now who the best one is, because Freeling's problem is his run game stuff. That's not been the best, and that's why, there's such a change of consensus on him. Some people have him going at 6 to the Browns, some people have him coming at 17 to the Lions, some have him a little bit later than that, because the run defensive stuff ain't quite there, but Munro Freeling's pretty good with his pass protection. I think Farnu's great with his pass protection. I think technically he's a lot better than some of the others. And, played against some damn good lines in the Big 12 as well. I think the level of competition is higher. And plus he moves better in space. If you're talking about, all the sort of perimeter stuff as well, I think he's better at that. I wouldn't say they're bad, but, obviously their calling card. Mawago's calling card is his run blocking. Farnu's calling card is his run blocking. Caden Proctor's calling card is his run blocking, but there's some good pass protectors in there. We're lacking proper elite technicians, but I think Freeland would probably be the best. Freeland or maybe, I don't know if Blake Miller. Blake Miller's calling card is his. I'm just saying Blake Miller's pretty good. So, but yeah, I think Munro Freeland will win that battle for now. But he loses overall because of the run blocking stuff. But I think overall, again, I don't mind. It's kind of what we've got at the minute. If you want elite technicians, you'd look at Caleb Tiernan, the Northwestern tackle in round 2. Again, I trust Northwestern tackles to the death to be technically trained properly, and he is. So Tiernan will be up in those conversations. That's what brings his stock up. So. Yeah. I think there's nothing in there for now. What have we been doing? An hour and a half. We'll probably go about another 10, 15 today, seeing, so if there's anything else you want to get in there, any other topics you want me to broach, then get them in now, or you can. Because as I say, this is the last one before the draft. I don't know whether I'll continue them after the draft, just because I don't know how much interest there'll be in them. The NFL off-season gets very quiet and there's not a lot to talk about. And plus, I do generally have a bit of time off after the draft, but given how much time off I've had off this year already for issues, I don't know whether I'll take any, but we'll see. But if you guys want me to continue doing them after the draft's done, just let me know and I will do that. Because I think they've been quite productive. I've quite enjoyed them, to be fair. We got through quite a lot. Obviously, we'll have a ton of college stuff to dive into over the summer, because we'll start doing all that sort of bits, so there'll be plenty to go through. Where are we here? Is there anything else we want to mention? Don't think so for now. Again, I'll just wait and see if anything comes into the chat for me to have a go at. Let's get the 7-round mocks out of there. Edges. Julian Neal, got all these bits. Oh, we had any more notes? Let's just check if we had any more messages on Twitter. No, not quite. Still waiting for more guys to get in on there. Tiernan may not be that good in the run game, though that's where he needs to get better. That's why Tiernan's a round 2 pick. The run game stuff needs to get much better with him, but I love his technique in pass protection. It's tremendous. You watched him. You watch him play against Oregon. He nullified Mateo Uangalele. Like, he's had some good games. The only guy who got the better of him in pass rushing this year was Gabe Yakers. Gabe Yakers absolutely destroyed him, and that's probably the worst game he's ever had of his college career. But Gabe Yakers is probably one of the best technical pass rushers in this draft. In terms of the arsenal of weapons he has at his disposal. That's why I love Gabe Yakers so much, and why I'd take him in the second if he was on the table, because he's just got so many moves. Like, he can beat even technically refined tackles. Gabe Yakers can. So, but yeah, Tiernan's in round 2 for a reason. There are deficiencies to his game, and size-wise, some people think he's a guard, but I don't think he is. I trust Northwestern tackles to make the move up. They do. Whether they get slid inside or whether they kept a tackle, all of them succeed. So I've got no doubts about that. It's just as of and where. How much attention are you paying to the league or the division in the off season? Not that much. Simply because there's not that much that goes on of note, really, to me. Because it's just really training and camps and bits like that. You know, there's not a lot to take away. I'll keep an eye on the division rivals and bits like that and see what they're doing. But for the most part, summer's about college. Like, I really dive into college football in the summer because we do our previews. And the previews take so much time to do. And, you know, obviously, it's where you do most of your research over the off-season, and that's the time to do it for college, whilst the NFL stuff's down. And again, I'm not really that massive on OTAs and stuff like that. I know the rest of the guys are, but for me, it is what it is. I'm at the point now where I just want to see the Lions play football in a competitive environment and win and get to a Super Bowl. So I don't pay a lot of attention to the league at all. Probably for the next 3-4 months, it'll be quite low. Apart from when the schedule comes out, and then when we start doing the content, like looking at the opponent's draft classes and stuff like that, I'll reinvigorate again. But yes, summer's about college football because there's so much work that goes into it. It's unreal. Like there's 11 conferences, and trying to do one conference takes me weeks. There's like nearly 140 college teams now, so yeah, it's nuts. But I'll always have an eye on it. But as I say, it's not the most exciting time. And to be honest, being able to switch off from the NFL over the summer is what makes it so appealing, because you get a rest from it. And then by the time you start ramping up your interest again, you're sort of reinvigorated. The problem we have with soccer over here has become a 12-month-a-year thing, like with all the international competitions and, you know, leagues going on later into the year. You never get a break from it. Like, it's always go, and it gets a bit fatiguing. So, like, having a natural switch off from the NFL for a bit is good, because it means when I come back I'm really excited about it. I look forward to these. Balance to all the baseball on radios this summer. Oh yeah, there'll be tons of baseball. Tigers doing well at the minute, so I always watch out for the other teams. And you'll get Pistons playoff games for a bit as well, so, you know, go Pistons. Let's hope they have a sustained playoff run to keep you all entertained as well. And will Tom and the other bloke from your squad that was here from the beginning be able to show up for the draft streams? I believe Ryan's going to make an appearance on the draft streams. I'm not sure about Tom. Tom got married. And Tom has a very demanding job where he's travelling all the time. So Tom's time is very short, but hopefully we'll see him. But I know Ryan's going to come on. Ryan McCluskey, college Ryan. I'm not sure if Ryan Farden's out there for the draft. Although, if he's on, hopefully he will be, because I miss Ryan. So, you know, we'll get hopefully some of the gang in there. But I'll be here, Matt will be here, Ash will be here. We'll have a few people guesting with us as well. Brett, our good friend, our Cleveland Browns fan who comes on, he'll be doing a segment with us on the preview show for the draft, and then he's going to join us intermittently as well. So he'll be on as a guest one. So we'll do what we can, but some of the guys just don't have the time available. But, you know, we always do where we can. And we we all love the hell out of all of them. Still love Tom and all that, even though I don't get to see them much anymore. So, but yeah, you'll have me at least. Who could say no to this smile? Yeah. If we do take a tackle, I would want Farno or Freeland. Edge would be unlikely, but Bain is my high edge pick. I think I would rather have Camera in the 4th. I love Mikael Camera. As you know, I picked him in my mock draft the other day. That's why I'm easy about not taking an edge early, because I think you can get Mikael Camera later on and he'll be just as good. But the Lions are never going to pick him because he's 6'1", and the Lions just don't pick 6'1" edges, so I'm already resigned to defeat with that one. In the end, Brad is going to draft his guys. Of course he is. And we love him for it because his guys are usually pretty damn good. So there we go. In the draft, the Bears have similar needs to the Lions. The Packers need a cornerback. The Vikings need new safeties and DL. Yeah, the NFC North is not in the best position right now for me. The Vikings are certainly rebuilding. The Packers, I think, are doing a mini rebuild. Like the Packers, I'm interested with the Packers. I'm wondering, receiver, are they happy with Matthew Golden being the number 1 now? It's going to be a massive promotion for him, and of course Christian Watson as well, but I think they could surprise us and go for another receiver. But they certainly need some work doing, the Packers do, and of course they're not going to have Micah Parsons to start the year, so that's going to be, not great for them. And they need their offensive line sorting as well, the Packers do, so... they let Rashid Walker leave. Elton Jenkins has gone, I believe. So that's a couple of the starters out. And there's a couple of questions over some of the other guys. So I don't think anyone has a big edge over us. And the Bears, the Bears have played a 4th place schedule for like 4 years in a row. They're going to have to deal with a tougher schedule next year. They've lost a lot of that secondary. Their offensive line's taken a hit because they've lost their starting centre. They still need a left tackle. They do need other bits as well. So I don't think any of them are... I think, the NFC North are all in flux right now. We're not the only ones struggling. So it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic there. Are any of the NFC North going to take a massive swing this year? It feels like the Bears are the ones who've been most uber aggressive, handing out tons of money and whatnot and trading as well. So... I would fancy the Bears to try. They've got something up their sleeve, I reckon. But yeah, at the minute, the Bears do have some similar needs to us. I know they want another edge, so we'll have to be careful with that. But we'll see, and we'll talk to. We have content creators coming on for hopefully the 31 other teams to talk us more through it. But I do know that. They want a lot of guys out of this draft because they know they've got holes, the Bears do. Lisa goes, would love to see Styles drop a bit and we go get him. Yep, ideal world, that is what happens. And we were told that Paul was going to be around more and we rarely see him. Yeah, Paul's got a little daughter at the minute. I say at the minute, he's going to have a little daughter forever. So, but you will see more of him eventually. He's been doing more writing because it's draft season right now. So Paul's done a lot of writing for us. So I would assume when draft season's done, obviously next college season starts, but there'll be more time to get more on the shows because we might have some more people doing this. We don't know. It's been such an up and down year for us. Obviously, it's been the hardest year in terms of stuff that's happened. Obviously, we've lost Steve. Myself and Ryan have had some serious issues. We've been dealing with him more so than me. So it's just been a bit of a... Hopefully we can reset over the summer and get back to normal next year, is what we're saying. So, but you will see Paul more, for sure. It's just been quite short now. We've called him up quite short notice in the busiest period of them all. So it'll be good for him to have an off season to come and take it easier a little bit and work his way in. But... yeah, we will always keep going. You'll always have the main ones of us, for sure. And do we keep seeing Isaiah World's stock continue to slide? Where do you see him being drafted? He's the one whose stock was high in the college season, now not so. Isaiah World, it depends. ACL tear, big tackle. Like, it's the worst injury for these guys to get because you just don't know what it's going to do with their explosion and whatnot. But Isaiah World struggled at Oregon. Like, he was a Nevada before. Yeah, he was Nevada tackle. He was good there, but he didn't quite take to the level of opposition in the Big Ten. Not like other guys have done, so I think he's undrafted because of the injury. If at best, I think he goes round 6 or 7. Certainly not taking a chance on him with the Lions. We've got no need for him. No need. Well, I'd rather keep Manu, to be fair. But his stock took a hit during the season. Both did. Alex Harkey, the right tackle from Texas State that they got in, there was a lot expected of him as well, and it just didn't come to fruition. So both Oregon tackles struggled massively with their expectations this year. For sure, you're right with that. But I think they were also over-egged a bit as well. Like, no one had seen them play Power 4 football before they kind of crowned them, and you've always got to watch them play a bit first before you can crown them. But certainly, injury has absolutely tanked his stock. If he'd stayed healthy, he would probably be a draft pick and probably higher than lower, but still, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with him, a lot of work. Packers early, twice before Parsons returns, that would be quite fun. And I had forgotten for Finn's content creator Zach McKinnell of Senior Editor Owner FCS Football Central. Oh, that's actually a good shout. I'll do with that. We're going to sort college guests, because I need to do more college guests. I had the guy from, I think the last guest I ever did for a college football podcast was the Michigan State guy, and that was like 3 years ago. We've not done enough guests for the college show. I need more guests for it. I keep every year nearly getting Omar. Omar is a massive Army Black Knights fan, like Brent, and he's like one of the foremost guys who loves the triple option. And we've sorted a show literally with him every year, and then when it's come round to sorting the time, something's gone wrong. So eventually I'll get him on. FCS Radio, I've had them locked in a couple of times, and then it's not quite worked. It's just sometimes trying to make, and Ryan's not as flexible as I am with the shows, because Ryan works different hours to what I do, so, and I don't want to do guests without Ryan, so it's very difficult for us to get guests over from there during our regular times. Maybe we'll have to do some on the weekends, we'll see. But yeah, I do intend to get a lot more guests on, for sure. Just, I need time. I need a PA. We'll see if we can pay for one out of the Roar of the Lions UK slush fund that we have. See if we can get someone to do it all for us. Still gutted about losing Steve and Brent. Yeah, it's hard as well. Brent used to chat all the time. Like, all of you. We do genuinely care about the lot of you, and when one of you goes, it's not the same. So, Brent always used to message on Facebook and stuff like that. And Steve was. I've still not come to terms with that. I'm gonna be doing something for him over when I'm ready. I'm gonna be doing an Iron Man for him, or not an Iron Man, but a Tough Mudder. I'm gonna be raising money for Maggie's. I'm gonna do an event for him where I'm gonna train, and we're gonna profile it and whatnot, because we want to raise money for him and that charity. So. But that's still, I've not had time to process it with everything else going. It's probably what led to me being such a bad spot, because I love Steve to death, and it still don't feel right. It's been a tough year for us on the pod, for sure. Micro Mike and Avery didn't know. No one did. I only know because Bo Booth put something on Facebook. Weirdly enough now, I've probably got more Facebook friends from America than I do from over here, because a lot of you guys have added me on Facebook as well. Don't know how you find me, but... Because might just say my name, I guess. But I've got quite a few Americans on there now, and I saw someone put up about him, but I wouldn't have known otherwise. I just, so yeah, it's crazy. We'll miss him for sure. There's one of the biggest proponents of the college show as well, but I will go on for the rest of you who come on for those shows. You sent me Zach's info, appreciate it. I will get round to it eventually. Right now we're in draft season, and I've just. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to be looking for more guests and stuff like that. So we are going to crack on. Right, what are we at? 1:46. So I'll go for 2. We'll do 2 hours with these. So got 15 more minutes. We will keep going. DC Smithers, how do you think the top 10 in the draft goes? Ooh, right. let's theoretically try this. How do I think so? I know Fernando Mendoza's going to the Raiders. That's like the easy one. Let's get that out of the way first and foremost. How it goes after that. The Jets at 2. This is where it all starts, because if it was me, I know who I'd take. I don't know whether the Jets are going to do it. I do. So at 1 is Mendoza. At 2, I think the Jets are going to take Arvell Reese. They really shouldn't, but I think they will, because that's just been... If I were them, I'm taking David Bailey, but they're not going to, so we'll see. So the Jets go Reese at 2. The Cardinals, I think there is a legitimate thing to say that Mawagoa might go to the Cardinals at 3 as a tackle, but in this case, I would probably give them David Bailey. So I go Mendoza, Reese, Bailey. At 4, you've got the Titans. Now, I just have no... the Tennessee Titans, it's like the Raiders last year when the Raiders took Jonty. I said the Raiders shouldn't have took Jonty because they had so many more needs than running back last year, the Raiders did. And look, Jonte had no chance last year. They just gave him no chance whatsoever. I don't think the Tennessee Titans should be taking Jeremiah Love. I think they've got much bigger issues to deal with right now. So, if for me, you've got Tony Pollard there. Yes, he's in a contract year, but I think he's a perfectly serviceable running back for you this year. I don't think you need to go that. So, I would give him a tackle. Like, this is where I would start. So I would say Mendoza at 1, Reese at 2, Bailey at 3, Mawagoa at 4. The Giants, I think the Giants are going to be the stupid ones and take Jeremiah Love, even though they've got Cam Scatterbo. It makes no sense for them to do it, but it's just... That's what the Giants do. Harbaugh's there. Like, he loves to run the football. He'll want multiple options there. And but will they be sensible this year? So, I don't think so. I think the Giants will probably go for the running back. The Browns will take a tackle. So, I think they'll go Monroe Freeland. I do buy that hype with them now. So, we've got Mendoza, Reese, Bailey, Mawagoa, Love, Freeling. At 7, I don't think the Commanders pick there. They've only got 5 picks in this draft. I think they're going to trade out. I think a corner-heavy team is going to come up. A corner-needy team is going to come up and get them. I would be looking towards maybe the Bengals to do it. I know the Bengals really need a corner. Maybe the Vikings would do it as well. But I would say the Bengals are going to be the ones that come up with the Commanders, because the Commanders need picks, and they would take Mansour Delane there. The Saints need a really good pass rusher. I'd probably put Bain to 8 at the Saints. Chiefs need another corner now because they've let theirs go. So I would expect Jamard McCoy to go at 9. And then at 10, you've got the Commanders who've gone back. Is there going to be another corner there at that point? Maybe Colton Hood goes there. They do need receiver help as well. Ooh. See, this is the tough problem with it. I just don't really know at this point. Mind you, they might take Styles just because of the value there. Like, I think Sonny should go top 5, but I just think people are going to be stupid and make bad decisions here. So yeah, Mendoza at 1, Reese at 2, Bailey at 3, Mawagoa at 4, Love at 5, Freeland at 6. Washington trades out with Cincy, and Delane goes at 7. Downs goes at 8, Bain at 9, and maybe Styles at 10. But if Styles is there at 10, then if it's Washington going, I'd go back again. I'd 100% go back again, and I'd be the one who'd go up with him and give him some picks for him. But I just, honestly, I don't know. It all starts at 2. Arvel Reese should not be the number 2 overall pick for me. So, it should be Bailey or Styles. Aaron Glenn should know better. 2, Aaron Glenn should know from Campbell's philosophy of just putting good players on his team. Like, the pick should be Styles, really, or Bailey. And I think that should be it. You don't want a positionless player coming up with Reese. Question, and which round do you see where Holmes may try to move up? I honestly think it's the first, because it's where the difference makers really are. I would expect up in the first, maybe back a bit in the second, like what we did with when we got Hendon Hooker a couple of years ago. We went back a few times and did some picks. So I would expect him to go up in the first, back in the second, to get more day 3 picks, and then from round 4 he goes back up into round 3 again and packages a few of those day 3 picks to do it. So up, down, up in that order. Bailey to the Jets. Question, and also any further takes from you on the Lions should trade for Dexter Lawrence Buzz? No, we shouldn't. I mean, Sexy Dexy, he'd be a tremendous player on our team, but you've kind of just invested a first round pick in Tylee Williams and you've got Aleem, so you are really pigeonholing yourself in terms of you've put a lot in there. If you're going to work a 3-man front, then yes, you do it. And then you have Hutch and or Barnes pinning your ears back from outside linebacker. But if you get Lawrence, for me, that signifies a scheme change. I wouldn't be against it totally. Like, I do like a 3-4. I do. And I think we need to do it a bit more because the 4-man front ain't working right now for us. But you'd have to give up a lot for him. Like, you're giving up 17 and next year's first or something else. And I think it's too high a price. So, I think the price will be too high. If they did, it'd be great, but I think the price is too high overall. Bengals never trade up. That is true. And maybe it's not the Bengals, but I still fully expect Washington to trade back. They've got an older team, and they've got holes on that team this year. And whether it's quality over quantity, I don't know, but I fully expect them to not be picking at 7. If there's a team that's going to trade, they're the first ones I'm seriously looking at to trade a pick away. Especially if Sonny Styles is still on the board and maybe Monroe Freeland, someone like that. I expect them to really go at it. So maybe not the Bengals. Like I say, it could be a bit like the Vikings might do it. Like the Vikings might make a massive splash and go up because they've struggled at corner for years because Amon-Ra's basically retired most of the corners they've had over the last 5 years. They've really struggled just like we have. So like they could be desperate to go up and get the guy. But yeah, I don't expect Washington to be there. You think Washington would trade back twice? Yeah, if the right player were there. Again, they've just got... Let me just double check who they've got. But I'm pretty sure it's just 5 picks. It's the least amount of picks in the draft. Apart from maybe Seattle. Seattle's got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, they've got 6. But they've got 7, they've got 71, and then they've got 147. Like, they've got a massive gap. You've got 76 picks between their... So no round 2, no round 4, and then you've got 3 throwaway picks, 187, 209, and 223. So you're looking... Like, if Minnesota wanted to jump up, I mean, you're talking a future first rounder there. For sure, because their administration's new in the grand scheme of things. The GM is still relatively new. Ownership's still relatively new. You don't have to go all in this year. But I think they could trade back a couple of times for sure. Saying that, Cincy trading. Didn't Cincy trade up last year? Ugh. I could be wrong. I did have them going for Shamar Stewart, though. I knew that. That was one of the picks that I got right, and yeah, that's proven to be really bad for them. But yeah, maybe now you think about it, they haven't done... much, but I know they are frequently predicted to go up. But I think the Bengals are in a situation where they've got to start winning with Burrow now. So I think they've got to start being a little bit more aggressive in how they go about things. I mean, they're there at 10, so it's not exactly a big thing. But if you want the top tier corner and that, then there's a big difference between even those few spots. So I could see them being aggressive. What would the cost be to trade to 10? For the Lions? So again, it's just using the draft tech chart. This is a guide rather than an actuality. Of course, there's no real set thing to this, but the Lions at 17, it's worth 950. The Bengals at 10 is worth 1,300. So you've got to find 350 points of value. That equates to pick 55. So you're going to have to give up pick 50 to get to 10. Although you would probably get a pick back. You would maybe get a third or a fourth back in that trade to make it amenable. But that's the trouble for us going up. We don't have it. I more think you're probably going to trade a future pick to go up. But yeah, that is your value. It is the value of pick 55 that you've got to find to go up from 17 to 10. And again, that is just a barometer, not an actuality. But hopefully that gives you some idea. But yeah, you'd have to give up 50. You would probably get back around 4 in return, sorry. So 10 and around 4 for 17 and around 2. So it just depends on who you like. But if that player's Sonny Styles, then that's probably a trade that I would make. That I would probably do it, even though a lot of people wouldn't like it. The Vikings could sit still and take Chris Johnson. I would love that, especially where the Vikings are at 18. Chris Johnson deserves a lot of love, just because he's a group of 5 player. But he deserves a lot of love and should go in the first round. But they're right behind us. So, are you going to play that chess game? Are the Vikings going to try and jump us for somebody? You don't know. I mean, maybe we're not corner needy, but we're still a division rival. Maybe Minnesota could try and jump us, but if they took... Yeah, I would actually not like it because I love Chris Johnson as a player. I want them to draft a bust at corner. Someone I don't like, so yeah, maybe go somewhere else with it, but take Jamal McCoy. And, because of the injury stuff, you just hope they do that, but I would love Chris Johnson to go there. Always a fan. I will always rep the small schools. Always. 100%. Vikings would be smart to sit at 18. Probably. Everyone has them taking Dylan Tyneman. I know Paul's worried about that. Been the resident Ducks fan. But they do seem to get a lot of love with Dylan Tyneman. But it all depends. I mean, for them, I guess you are... I mean... What's their situation? Kevin O'Connell, he's falling behind. He's fallen behind the Bears. He's fallen behind us, the Packers. I know they technically beat us last year, but I think overall they're the worst team in the NFC North right now. So they also do have to make noise. So it would not surprise me if he's at the point now where he's feeling like they've got to. But I guess they've just fired Kwesi, so a new GM might not want to be aggressive with them. But yeah, they're always predicted secondary, be it corner or safety. So I would think that would be pretty set in stone for them. But you just don't know. There's that many. Again, with 5 teams having multiple first round picks, it's going to be mad this year. And again, without the value being around, I don't know whether the value will be as high as it normally is. There's just so many unanswered questions. You just don't know at this point. You just really don't know. Again, it's sort of cop-outy, but yeah, it's crazy. Right. Ooh, we are at about the 2-hour mark. Right, so take in last orders for any more questions now. So anything you want to ask, get them in the next couple of minutes, and then I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go and watch the end of a film or something, and then go get some sleep, because we have a big week to prepare for. But yeah, as I say, I've given you a rundown of everything that's happening with us next week. So yeah, come join us for all those shows. I believe we've put them all up. Matt's put them all up on YouTube now, so you can see when they are, when they're going to be, and we'll release guest lists closer the time. As mentioned, the draft is going to be next weekend, so there won't be a Q&A session next Friday because at this point we'll be live. We'll be in round 2 at this point. The Lions will probably be picking at about 50 right now. So yeah, and again, if you'll want me to carry on doing these after the draft, just kind of let me know, because I don't know I don't know whether you're all going to be fatigued from the draft and you want to have a break from it all. But if you want me to carry on doing it, I will. If not, I will put them on hiatus for a while. But certainly we'll do these Friday Q&As during next season and make them a regular thing, because only seeing us once a week, out of sight, out of mind, we want to be more visible next year and do more stuff so people don't forget about us, because we've stagnated in our growth and we need to start growing again. So we're going to do more for it. Question, and some call this the worst draft they have ever seen. Do you share this view as well, or is there a worse draft that I have seen? For me, 2017 was really bad, if not worse. I mean, it's all relative, right, Grandizer? At the minute, we have no idea if this is going to be the worst draft, because you've got to wait 3 years to... this could be one of the best drafts ever. I mean, in terms of the actual caliber of the prospect coming up, I mean, it's... The trouble with this draft, it's not deep at the sexy positions. There are no quarterbacks outside of Mendoza. There are no running backs outside of Jeremiah Love. There are no tight ends outside of Kenyon Sadiq. There's no centres really buzzing round 1 or round 2 draft grades this year. Your linebacking options, your traditional linebackings are a bit lacking. I think it's just there's the lack of blue chip this year. I can't remember as little blue chip, what you would call blue chip in recent years. You've got to go back. Maybe 2017 is one of those where you would go back to that, but yeah, I do get the thing. Like, it's not my favourite class. Like, I'm not as enamoured. Like, I don't have as many prospects I'm completely enamoured with. Like, there's Kyle Louis and there's AJ Halsey and guys like that, but usually there's a lot more. But again, we're not going to know if it's weak till 3 years in, but I think the top of the tier is lacking compared to usual. Whereas next year could be the best draft of all time generationally. That's where that could be at. But things can change in 12 months. But certainly I'm not going to call them the worst draft class yet, because that's just unfair to them. There's a lot of potentially really good players here. So yeah. I think it's just lacking at some of the premium positions. That's why it's struggling and why people are a little bit down on it compared to normal. But I'm still looking forward to it nonetheless. I like the uncertainty. And again, people seem set on kind of the 32 will be going in the first. I think you're going to see a lot of players going in the first round you don't expect. I think there's going to be a lot of receivers in the first round this year. I think there could be as many as 6 or 7 go, because that's the opportunity for them to get in the first round when there's not so many other great groups around. So I think it's gonna be really intriguing, like really, really intriguing. But yeah, and for the record, I actually really like this draft, and no, I don't measure a draft by the amount of high-end top QBs in a draft. I will tell you one thing, this is my favourite day 3 in quite some time. I love the day 3 prospects this year. Corners, I love the day 3 corners. I love the day 3 receivers in terms of what we need. Tight ends are pretty decent as well. Linebackers are fantastic. Eric Hunter, Aiden Fisher. Like, I am very excited about day 3 this year. It's the day I'm looking forward to the most. The round 1 is all the intrigue. Day 2 for me is really meh. Like, really meh. There's only 3 or 4 guys I want in day 2, and really that's it. But day 3 is incredibly exciting. So where the top of the draft is maybe not delivering, day 3 will. I think there'll be some really damn good players in day 3 this year. More so than usual. This is a draft for the smaller guys. Hoping to see at least 3 or 4 HBCU prospects go as well. So, I think there'll be a lot of opportunity there. A lot of really, there'll be quite a few FCS guys in as well. But yeah, day 3 incredibly exciting for me. So that's where this draft really excels this year, is day 3. Bobalan says, thanks, appreciate you, Bobalan. Thank you for joining as always. Lisa goes, yes, I love the Q&As. Well, I shall carry on doing them then. Even if only 1 or 2 people like them, I shall carry on. We'll just have to find some other bits to talk about. I mean, I guess we'll have enough to talk about in the few weeks immediately after the draft. And then the schedule comes out as well, so we'll not be without content for a while. My QB pick, Haynes King. I think that's the Lions pick. It's not my favourite. I think that was very much what the Lions would do, trying to score some brownie points with them. I don't really have it. I don't like any of the QBs. I love them this year. There's no KJ Jefferson this year. There's no Rocco Becht this year. Like, Rocco's the one. If Rocco was in this draft, I'd be all over him. But we'll wait till next year. The Rocco Becht chant can come next year. But the QB class I have so little love for this year. I love Mendoza, and I love Taylor Green's upside, and that's probably about as nice as I could be about it. There's just so much mid this year. So much mid. It is truly one of the worst QB classes in forever. I honestly can't remember it being this bad. But I think Mendoza's tremendous. He just gets knocked because it's such a bad draft class. And Ty Simpson, 1 year starting, yeah, I'm just not buying his hype either, but I think he's probably going to be one who's going to go a lot higher than people expect. I would expect him to go in round 1 somewhere. Again, 5 teams with 2 picks. One of them could probably afford to take a risk at future quarterback if they so want to. And you could do one maybe once every other week in the off-season. That might be a better idea, actually. Do a Q&A every couple of weeks or so. Or when there's enough to chat about. Or when I've got enough questions. I guess that's the demand. You give me the questions, I'll give you the answers. I don't really get much feedback on the posts anymore, so I just get most of my questions from you guys on stream now. So as long as the demand is there, I'll keep doing them. I just don't want to be sat here on my own twiddling my thumbs with no one asking me anything, because no one wants to do that. As much as I would love Kyle Louis, if we got Styles, I would be okay passing on Louis. That would be tough. If you offered me them both, I would really struggle. I love Stoney Styles, but Kyle Louis is like, he's up there in terms of prospect I've loved. It just, if you said Styles at 17 or Louis at 50, it would be Styles at 17 100 times out of 100, and I absolutely adore Kyle Louis to death. If it's the amount of capital I have to give up to get Styles versus getting Louis at 50, I would probably take Kyle Louis and save a lot of draft capital for other years and other positions. So it changes in that regard. But if you just gave me a straight 17 Styles, 50 Louis, yeah. I love you, Kyle, but you would lose in that situation. Thank you, Ant One Proud Worldwide. Appreciate you, Mark Granowski. I don't mind Mark Granowski. He is alright indeed. Right, okay, I think we're going to call it there. We're at 2:10. It is 2:15 in the morning here. I still want to watch a bit of TV before I go to bed. So thank you, everyone, for joining. For Bob O'Lang, Grandizer, DC Smithers, every single one of you who's been here and contributed to this. It is good fun. And again, they do mean a lot to me. I do enjoy coming on, and this is therapeutic for me, given where I've been at. So the fact that you all come and choose to spend your Friday evenings with me, I honestly do appreciate the heck out of. So thank you to you all. All of you have a fantastic weekend, and next time I see you will be Monday, and we will be on draft week. I can't wait. It's going to be so much good fun. Join us on Monday to try and predict what the first round is going to be. I've got mine in front of me here, and I don't have a Scooby-Doo, so that's going to be my job over the weekend, is to try and find a competitive first round mock draft. But hey ho, it is what it is. But I will see you on Monday. Have a fantastic time, everyone. Love you all. Take care. One Pride, worldwide.